Welcome to a deep dive. This is where we take the stack of sources you brought us, articles, research, data, and we'll plunge right in to extract the essential knowledge.
Exactly. And today, our mission is to really unpack Life crypto, Life as it's known. We've got material here from CoinCodex, CoinLore, CoinMarketCap, Global Fintech series, even a bit from the MEXC blog to help us. We want to figure out, what Life actually is, how it's supposed to work, what the data and those price predictions are saying, and maybe what key events are shaping its journey.
Okay, and just to paint the picture for today, June 14th, 2025, the overall crypto market cap is sitting around, $3.29 trillion?
Yeah, about that. And Bitcoin dominance is pretty high, 63.66%. The 24-hour volume is roughly $98.48 billion.
And Bitcoin itself, trading around $105,510. Just for context, outside crypto, the S&P 500 is at $5,976.97. Gold's at $3,432.90, and the US dollar is trading at about 0.87 euro.
Right. Good context. And getting specific on Life crypto, the sources are showing its current live price is hovering somewhere between 0.000004237 and 0.0000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000 What is Life crypto fundamentally trying to achieve? Well, at its heart, the sources describe it as this innovative payment network and also a digital currency. The big goal seems to be simplifying crypto payments, making them easier for, everyone. It leverages the Ethereum blockchain to start.
Simplifying payments. I mean, that makes sense. Those long, complicated wallet addresses are definitely a barrier for some people, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. And this is where, according to the sources, it gets really interesting. A key feature they highlight is being able to send crypto using simple nicknames, like at usernames.
Instead of that long string of characters.
Exactly. No more copy pasting those huge addresses. The sources call this a vast improvement for user experience and really crucial for onboarding new users. Makes sending crypto feel more like, sending a quick message.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like it tackles a real pain point. And it's not just stuck on Ethereum, is it? You mentioned multi-chain.
That's right. They're definitely building with a multi-chain future in mind. Live Crypto is developing what they call a non-custodial wallet. It's currently live on Ethereum and also Binance Smart Chain.
Okay.
But the plan is to expand quite a bit. They're aiming for Polygon, HBAR, Concordium, Fuse, and Phantom too. So yeah, they want broad compatibility across different blockchain ecosystems.
And the Life token itself, that's the fuel for this ecosystem.
Correct. Life is the native utility token. It's designed for a bunch of uses within their system. Staking it to earn rewards, potentially using it for purchases, transferring value easily with those usernames, and they even talk about possible future integration with debit cards. The vision, as the sources put it, is for it to be a new kind of money.
Have they actually launched the wallet yet? Is it out there?
They have, yeah. The wallet, it's called the Life DeFi wallet, hit the Google Play Store back in January 2023.
Okay, so it's been available on Android for a while.
Right. And it's apparently under review for the Apple App Store as well. They've also actively pushed the username feature, mentioning they previously handled over 10,000 registrations. So seems like there's some interest in that specific simplified approach.
So it's more than just easy transfers. What other aims does the project have?
Yeah, the ambitions seem broader. The sources talk about securing dApps, enabling anonymous digital cash transactions, focusing on privacy there, and also integrating with traditional finance systems. Bridging that gap seems to be a key goal.
Any specific real-world sectors they think this could impact?
They do mention a couple. Potential impacts in healthcare, maybe for better data transparency or security, and insurance too, possibly streamlining claim settlements or even underpinning blockchain-based life insurance policies. So they're definitely thinking beyond just simple peer-to-peer payments.
Okay. Simplifying, integrating. Sounds like a solid plan. But security is always the big question in crypto, isn't it? How is the Life ecosystem secured?
It is, and they describe a kind of a multi-layered approach. It starts with the basics, leveraging the inherent security features of blockchain, like decentralization and encryption.
Standard stuff, yeah.
Right. Then they add things like private key access for users, recommending hardware wallets for better security, implementing two-factor authentication, or 2FA, and emphasizing the need for regular software updates to patch any vulnerabilities.
And the staking you mentioned, is that audited?
Yes, they specifically mention that the smart contract staking, which is available on both ETH and BSC networks, has been audited. They position it as a secure way for users to participate and earn rewards.
They also mention something called a cryptographic root of trust.
Yeah, that sounds like part of the underlying technical architecture aimed at ensuring the integrity and trustworthiness of how the platform operates at a fundamental level.
But it's important, and the sources themselves point this out, that no system is ever completely foolproof, right? Especially when third parties get involved.
Absolutely, that's a crucial point. The sources stress that users still need to take personal responsibility for securing their own accounts. Security is definitely a shared responsibility here.
Fair enough. Okay, let's pivot a bit from the tech to the market side. What do the numbers look like right now? What's the technical snapshot?
Okay, so based on the data we have, that current price is, like we said, around that 0.0000042 mark. The market cap is, well, relatively small, somewhere between $111,000 and $112,000 USD.
That is quite small.
It is, and the 24-hour trading volume is also modest, around $94,000 to $95,000.
Now, looking back, the all-time high, that was way higher, wasn't it? 0.04112 back in November 2021. So yeah, it's down.
Yeah.
Wow, 99.9% from that peak.
A massive drop, yeah. But interestingly, it did hit an all-time low much more recently in April 2025 at 0.000002438. And it's actually bounced up quite a bit from that low, about 74% increase.
So a recent bounce, but still vastly down from the highs. What are the technical indicators saying? Is there a clear signal?
Well, this is where it gets really fascinating because our sources actually give us different reads. CoinCodex, looking at their set of indicators as of yesterday, June 15th, counts more bearish signals than bullish ones, 18 bearish, 12 bullish. So their overall take on the sentiment based purely on those technicals is bearish.
Okay, CoinCodex says bearish, but you said the sources differ.
Exactly. CoinLore, using their own analysis and indicators, actually reports a bullish sentiment for the short term. Their specific bull-bear gauge shows a real mix: 4 bullish, 3 bearish, and 4 neutral signals.
So one says bearish, one says bullish short term, and one shows a mixed bag. That tells you something right there, doesn't it? High uncertainty.
It really does. It highlights how interpreting these signals isn't always straightforward. And looking at the broader market mood, CoinCodex mentions the fear and greed index is at 0.
0? That's extreme fear, right?
Deep in extreme fear, yeah. Now, that index is heavily influenced by Bitcoin, but it does give you a sense of the overall risk appetite or, well, the lack of it in the market right now. Some contrarian traders might see extreme fear as a potential buying signal, but objectively, it reflects very negative sentiment.
Okay, let's talk price levels. Are there key support or resistance zones the sources point to?
Yes, and again, some variation here. CoinCodex gives classical pivot support levels around 0.0000004,194, then 0.00040 and 0.00041 tween. CoinLore, on the other hand, sees stronger support a bit lower at 0.000000293, but also lists an EMA-based support slightly higher at 0.000044110.
Interesting divergence even on support. What are resistance levels needs to break above?
CoinLore sees resistance significantly higher up, though, at 0.000654, then 0.0000450, and 0.0001112. Big difference in perceived ceilings there.
So the technical picture is definitely murky. What about things like moving averages or the RSI?
It's a mixed bag there, too, which kind of fits with the conflicting sentiment signals. CoinCodex shows most short-term moving averages giving sell signals, but some of the medium-term ones, like the 50-day and 100-day simple moving averages, are actually signaling BUY, but then their weekly EMAs are sell again.
Confusing.
Right. And CoinLore also shows a mix, some EMAs suggesting sell, others buy. The RSI, the relative strength index, which gauges momentum. CoinCodex puts it around 48, calling it neutral sell. CoinLore has it slightly higher at 57, calling it natural. But CoinLore adds a key detail. The weekly RSI is way down at 18.28.
Which is usually seen as oversold, right? Suggesting maybe it's been pushed down too hard recently.
Potentially, yeah. An RSI that low often indicates an asset might be oversold. And just quickly, CoinLore's Bollinger Bands show the upper band at 0.0000000000352, with the price currently trading just under the middle SMA line. So yeah, the technicals are really painting a picture of conflict and uncertainty.
Okay, well, given all that uncertainty, let's cautiously wade into the predictions. Keeping firmly in mind these are just algorithmic forecasts based on past data, absolutely not guarantees.
Couldn't stress that enough, especially when the current signals are so mixed. Now, for the very near term, like the next week or month, the sources really diverge quite dramatically. CoinCodex is actually predicting a fairly significant drop.
Oh, really? How much?
Their model forecasts a potential decrease of about 23% over the next week, possibly hitting 0.00003003277 by June 20th. And looking out to mid-July, they see it dropping further, maybe over 25% down to 0.000003197.
Okay, so CoinCodex is pretty bearish short term. What's CoinLore saying for the next few days or weeks?
CoinLore's outlook is quite different. They're predicting a slight increase. They see the price potentially hitting 0.000030438 tomorrow and maybe reaching 3.00000000448 next week. That would be a modest gain, about 4% from their estimate of this week's high.
Wow, so one predicts a 25% drop, the other a 4% gain for basically the same time frame.
Exactly. It perfectly illustrates the volatility and just how hard it is to predict these things short term. CoinCodex's own monthly predictions for the rest of 2025 also show this kind of choppiness, flipping between bearish and bullish sentiment month by month.
Right, so short term is a bit of a coin toss, according to these models. What about longer term? Medium to long-term forecasts. This is often where things get really ambitious in crypto.
Or really divergent, as we see here. The difference between CoinCodex and CoinLore's long-term outlooks is, well, massive.
Okay, lay it out for us. What are they seeing for, say, the rest of 2025?
CoinCodex forecasts a trading range for 2025 between roughly 0.000000029 and 0.000000002. Their average predicted price is around 0.00000000033. Based on that, their model suggests a potential ROI for the whole year of only about 0.71%, basically staying flat.
Okay, very conservative. And CoinLore?
CoinLore is, well, let's just say significantly more optimistic for 2025. They're predicting a price range between 0.000000586 and 0.0000904.
Wait, 0.3 zeros?
Yes. That represents, according to their calculation, a potential increase of over 2,000% from the current price by the end of this year.
2,000% versus less than 1%. That's not just a difference, that's a chasm.
It's a huge gap, absolutely, and it continues. For 2026, CoinCodex sees a range up to maybe 0.00011 averaging around 0.0000069 Rs. CoinLore is predicting a range between 0.0000535 and 0.000000698 for 2026. Still way higher.
Okay, keep going. 2027.
CoinCodex sees a generally bullish trend for 2027, predicting prices between 0.0000048 and 0.0000075. CoinLore predicts a range of 0.00000000148. Could be. It just underscores that these prediction models aren't infallible, even in how the data is presented sometimes.
Good point. What about 2028, 2029?
CoinCodex predicts a continued uptrend for 2028, averaging around $0.0000009, maybe hitting 0.0000061. CoinLore's range for 2028 is 0.0000071 up to 0.0000000 laying wait for, maybe reaching as high as 0.000000181 CoinLore. They predict a range of 0.0000921 to 2.0000045 for 2029.
And let's round out the decade, 2030.
CoinCodex suggests continued growth, potentially reaching 0.0000163. CoinLore, again, is way more bullish. They predict life could reach 0.0000006 by 2030.
0.002.
Yep. They explicitly state that would be an increase of roughly 40.0067 to 0.0000006.
And even further out, do they hazard guesses beyond 2030?
CoinCodex's highest estimate we see goes out to 2050, predicting maybe 0.00126 stuff. CoinLore gives forecasts up to 2040, with ranges like 0.0000345 to 0.0000111 to 0.0000711 by 2040. They also had a comment in their Q&A that their system suggests the price might even exceed the ATH and reach 0.00103 within 10 years, which again reinforces just how bullish their model is compared to CoinCodex.
It's just stark. The difference is enormous. CoinLore essentially sees life smashing its old records and going multiples higher, while CoinCodex sees it struggling to even get close to its previous highs for decades.
It really highlights the speculative nature of these long-term crypto forecasts. And importantly, both sources are very clear. This is not investment advice. These are models based on historical data, technicals, AI, whatever they use. They both say, do your own research, DYOR.
Absolutely crucial. Just as a side note, CoinLore did look at historical monthly performance. Apparently, September has typically been the best month for life and December the worst. Interesting historical tidbit for what it's worth.
Yeah, patterns can be interesting, though past performance is no guarantee, as they say. So yeah, the prediction landscape, short-term confusion, long-term massive disagreement between sources.
Okay, let's move away from the price speculation for a bit. What's the Life Crypto team actually doing? What developments are happening? What's the vibe around the project and community?
Well, the progress on the Life DeFi wallet we talked about is a key concrete step, right? Getting it onto Google Play and aiming for the Apple App Store that's crucial for getting their core feature, the easy username payments, into people's hands.
And it sounds like they're trying to be part of the wider crypto conversation too.
It seems so. The sources suggest the team engages in discussions on a pretty wide range of topics, everything from, meme coins and fintech careers to more serious stuff like AML regulations and practical things like integrating crypto perks into everyday life, like discounts on car rentals.
Are they tackling the hard technical stuff as well?
Apparently so. They're reportedly discussing complex areas like AI-driven cyber attacks, which is a huge topic now, zero-knowledge rollups for scaling and privacy, and dealing with MEV attacks, that's maximal extractable value, a tricky problem in blockchain. They're also keeping an eye on upcoming EU crypto laws. It suggests they're trying to stay current with both the tech and the regulatory landscape.
And building out their own tech infrastructure.
Yes, sources mention work on things like their testnet daylight release cycle, developing crypto asset management and custody tools, looking at supply chain applications, exploring carbon DeFi trading strategies, and again, working on ways to address those MEV issues. So it seems like an effort to build out a more complete ecosystem.
What about the team itself? Any info on them?
The sources describe them as professional and, importantly, doxed, meaning their identities are public. They're apparently spread worldwide and focus on community support.
Okay. And there was one other interesting thing mentioned, this Life Token V2 and a charity angle.
Right. This seems to be a separate, though related project. It's listed as LTN V2, runs on the Binance Smart Chain, so it's different from the main ERC20 Life token. This V2 token is specifically focused on suicide prevention.
Wow.
Yeah, they have goals like a charity NFT marketplace, staking rewards, setting up a suicide hotline, and developing a mental health support app called Lifeline. It has its own tokenomics geared towards charity donations, marketing, holder rewards, and liquidity. So it's important to distinguish that from the main Life Payment Network project, even though they share the Life name.
Okay, good distinction. So let's try to pull all these threads together.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways for you, the listener, from this deep dive into Life Crypto?
Well, you've seen Life Crypto, Life. It's got a clear mission, right? Simplify crypto payments using usernames, build this multi-chain wallet, make crypto easier to use.
And it's using standard blockchain tech, adding security layers, engaging with advanced concepts, and even thinking about real-world uses in healthcare and insurance. There's definitely an ambition there.
But on the flip side, you've got an asset trading, vastly below its peak from 2021. The technical indicators right now, they're giving off really mixed signals. And the overall market mood, according to that fear and greed index, is stuck in extreme fear.
And crucially, those price predictions are just miles apart. One set of models suggests stagnation or slow growth, staying way below the old highs. The other predicts explosive growth, smashing those old records. Wildly different potential futures painted by the algorithms.
So this deep dive has hopefully given you the core information from these sources. The project's central idea, its features, how they approach security, the current market snapshot, that huge range and conflict in the price predictions, and what the team seems to be working on, including that related charity token.
We've explored Life Crypto from different angles, the tech, the market data, the conflicting forecasts. You've seen the push for user-friendly transactions via usernames, the multi-chain wallet ambition, and those, frankly, eye-popping long-term predictions from one source.
But you've also seen the mixed technicals right now, the extreme fear market context, and the undeniable historical volatility shown by that massive drop from the all-time high, which other data points reflect.
So when you put the project's stated goals and ongoing development next to the volatile market data and these dramatically diverging algorithmic forecasts, it really brings up a core question, doesn't it?
It does. So what does this all really mean? When you're looking at a project like Life Crypto, How do you personally weigh that promise of innovation and utility against signals from a volatile market, conflicting indicators, and predictions that swing from minimal gains to potentially huge returns?
And maybe more importantly, what kind of research, what kind of digging would you need to do next to bridge that gap for yourself and form your own informed view? Something to ponder until our next deep dive.